Telemarketers and debt collectors are fighting tooth and nail to get the FCC and other federal regulators to allow them to use technology that bypasses the ringtone on your phone and essentially allows them to leave voicemail messages. These are known as ringless voicemail messages, and they want to ensure that they're not regulated the same way phone calls are regulated to protect consumers. So to give you some more details on this, this technology is gaining traction, and these calls are quietly deposited through a so-called backdoor directly into a voicemail box, to the surprise and irritation of the recipient, who cannot do anything to block them. So the problem is, these telemarketers or debt collectors can just keep sending you these voicemails over and over again, clogging your voicemail box, and you have absolutely no ability to block them whatsoever. Also, keep in mind that these pro-businesses argue that these messages should not qualify as calls and therefore should be exempt from consumer protection laws that ban similar types of telephone marketing.
Do you realize how insane that is?
This is like crazy.
We invented this new way to pester you that goes around the wording of a law created in 1991 before a lot of these technologies existed. So we should be exempt from laws because we created a new way to bother you besides your physical mailbox, besides calling you, ringing you on the phone. It's insane that they've done this. It's already operating in a legal gray area.
Yes.
But to make that more, in the clear or whatever, legal instead of just questionably legal, it's insane. It is like we've created a brand new way of bothering you.
And also keep in mind that if you are on a do not call list, they are able to bypass that as well. At least they're doing that as of now, and they want further protection. They want further protection by regulators, and that's what they're asking for. Now, according to, go ahead.
Who leaves a voicemail? Anyway,
who listens
no,
voicemails?
I don't listen to voicemails. It's annoying. No, text me. These telemarketers, you're annoying me in a completely useless way. I'm never gonna listen to your voicemail, and the only reason I would listen to this voicemail is to get to the point where I find out how to delete you forever from my life.
Right.
That's annoying. So, but the problem is, the justification that they have for this being a possibility is that it is not an inconvenience. When the reason they say they can't really necessarily call you if you haven't opted in on a voicemail is because then it kind of means that you're spending money by receiving it because it's minutes on your cell phone plan. But I would have to use minutes on my cell phone plan to call the number at the end of the voicemail to cancel it.
And you're never gonna do that.
Also, ask anyone. All telemarketing is an inconvenience. And a lot of the times you don't know how you opted in. Every cell phone call that I get that's a telemarketer, somehow I have opted in. That's probably by putting my telephone number into something when I made a transaction online.
Right, that's right.
Or entered a drawing at the movie theater because I really want that car.
Brett.
You would do
that.
I do it a lot.
I get spam calls all the time from like spoofed numbers, and that goes around the do not call registry because they'll just not use that number anymore. And I have maybe 100 blocked numbers in my phone because of that.
Wow, you should probably change your number.
I already did. That's the thing.
That explains why I can't get through to you.
Wow.
Text me, Brett.
I think operating systems should, if this becomes legal, which it shouldn't, operating systems should give, on your phone, should give you the opportunity the same way that you delete it. When you swipe left on my iPhone, I can delete my voicemail. It should have another color with another option saying, these people can never send it to me again. So it is the same amount of inconvenient as it is when a relative you don't want to talk to calls you and leaves a message and you just delete it forever.
Right, and by the way, you mentioned text messages. I have received text messages from marketers before, and so that's definitely something that's either already happening on a wide scale or will happen on a wider scale moving forward. So that's something to keep in mind. Margot Sanders, who's with the National Consumer Law Center, says unregulated ringless voicemail messages will likely overwhelm consumers' voicemail systems, and consumers will have no way to limit, control, or stop these messages. Debt collectors could potentially hijack a consumer's voicemail with collection messages. Now, the reason why I read you that quote is because every so often often you will get a voicemail message that is important, right? There's some sort of family emergency and you need to hear it. And if your voicemail box is full with debt collectors or telemarketers, that's gonna be a problem. And so we'll see how this is gonna develop moving forward. But I really do hope that regulators, move to protect consumers and realize that this is a terrible way to conduct business.
It's awful. And also, I am never going to buy anything over the phone. I never have and I never will. And I think a lot of younger people probably feel that way.
Right.
Yes, absolutely. It is very frustrating for me, and I will not allow this to happen. The problem is, I was just trying to remember what I had to say.
I will not allow this to happen.
I will kill time till the thought comes back. No, there is these regulations. I don't have faith that it'll actually happen. While this seems extremely cut and dry to me, that every human being knows that telemarketers are one of the most frustrating experiences because you have to wait till the end of the call. It's just a pain in the buns.
Yeah.
But there's marketing dollars behind this, and so there's commercial dollars behind this.
Would you expect that FCC Chairman Ajit Pai would favor
big business
over people? On that note, there is a place for you to comment publicly on the FCC website. That may or may not be successful, considering how well Title II restrictions went.
We're not the Young Turks, you're the Young Turks. You power this show. Together, we built something amazing. We've broken stories like the Donna Brazil story the mainstream media wouldn't break. We built the studio, we built this network. It's now #1, all thanks to you guys. Let's come build it even bigger and stronger. TYTnetwork.com/join.